Are you a Matterport service provider scanning for architects, building owners, construction, or facility managers? Are you seeking an overview of Matterport plus SIMLAB Stages and SIMLAB SIM-ON? Stay tuned. Hi all, I am the digital twin of Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. You're watching a special edition of the WGAN-TV podcast for digital twin creators shaping the future of real estate today. We have a great how-to episode for you. Our WGAN-TV podcast guest host is Tom Sparks, founder and CEO of Scan Your Space, a division of Sparks Media Group. Tom's guest is SIMLAB founder and Chief Executive Officer Marek Koźlak. Marek shows and tells the highlights of SIMLAB Stages for construction progress monitoring and cross-sector communications using a Procore integration, and SIMLAB SIM-ON for facilities automation control and asset management with integrations including IBM Maximo, IoT, and various protocols.
Hey everybody, Tom Sparks with Sparks Media Group. I'm here with Marek Koźlak, the founder and CEO of SIMLAB, and he's going to talk about Stages and SIM-ON, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So we're kind of going to get into what both are, and I have some questions, and I think Marek's going to show a presentation. So Marek, do you want to start with the presentation?
Yes. Hi all. Nice to be here. And yeah, let's go straight to the subject. So today is going to be digital twin based on the SIMLAB platform, which is Stages and SIM-ON. So when we talk about the SIMLAB, we are a digital twin company. We are a tech company because we are creating the technology, not doing just services. Actually, services we are giving to our partners and trying to provide the toolkit which works on top of the digital scanning software. And of course, everybody here knows Matterport, so Matterport is our subject number one. And how we are different from Matterport and in other platforms? Well, first of all, we are trying to provide a full life cycle, digital twin life cycle support for the building. That means is that we are supporting the buildings already on the design and construction phase, also renovation phase, but then we're doing something which is something completely new to the sector. We are translating the data, we are passing the data from construction process towards the facility maintenance and operation. And using the same data, we are allowing to reuse the content from construction, design, BIM models, IFC data, and the other BIM parameters, the instructions manuals, and the different versions of the scanning documents into the facility manager and the building operation team. So all of those buzzwords like digital twin, construction management, IoT, sensors, building automation, building management system, BMS, asset management and maintenance, we are trying to cover where Matterport, and not only Matterport, but Matterport becomes our dashboard for all of this data. And those very hard to understand engineering data, we are making much more useful towards regular owners. So from the engineer to the lady that is running her own apartment, or facility manager driving the factory, or shopping mall maintenance company that is, setting up the new schedule for the cleaning service that needs to do something on the facility. Matterport is our bread and butter, but on top of the Matterport, we are reusing data from additional professional systems and the platforms on the market. So Procore is our big partner, and we source all of the Procore data, assets, information, and actually database and the catalogs inside to the Matterport simulation. But we do the same with IBM Maximo. Procore for the construction phase, while IBM Maximo for the operation and maintenance of existing buildings. And all of the other logos here that you see, it's like leaders, European and Asian, as well as the Americans in the subject of the building automation, which is BMS, building management systems. So our main goal is to provide a full digitalization, kind of the workplace for any other professional systems, where we use visualization as the main framework to work with the asset management, IoT control or building automation control, maintenance, and actually the construction data management as well. Here is our short movie presenting basically what we are doing, but I don't gonna be displaying this fully. What I would like to do at the end of the presentation, I will give you the link to the presentation that you are just seeing. So all of those materials that you are seeing here, you can take and reuse it with your customers or with your partners and just go through all of them and actually see it yourself later on with details. I will just maybe focus in the next half an hour on the biggest values of what we are bringing to the market. And what is our biggest challenge here is that we are trying to take all of these different file formats, all of those different communication protocols, all of those different softwares, and put it under one hood. And that's basically our main goal with two solutions. And why two solutions? Because we are dedicated the same technology, but for different target groups. One target group is focused mostly on the construction process. Another one is focused on the building operation and maintenance. But this is the same software. One login, one password. It's just how you have access to different functionalities, but the data is the same. So whatever you will do in a construction process, which is our Stages software, is being distributed to SIM-ON, which is just different interface to the same Matterport scan that you already have. But as you see, Stages, the name is coming from the main general concept of Stages, which is stage 1, which is a scan 1, scan 2, stage 2, scan 15, stage 15. And then in a SIM-ON, you don't need to have those building timeline, but you need to have a sensors. So you can select which stage for you is interesting. And then on top of that, build a little bit different visualization of different assets or building automation systems or data that is considering your daily operations. So those two softwares, which are creating one backend, one solution, and it's just different target groups, but the software is the same. And the first one, Stages. The Stages for us is construction process monitoring system. Why? Because you have this stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So you can create a building timeline that is actually creating for you one single source of truth for all of the asset libraries, depending on different file formats that you might use. So if you're using a blueprints, if you're using a B models as the Revit, or finally, when you have the IFC scans compared with the as-built data, you can make everything in one visualization software. And that's basically a communication platform, because all of the different target groups that are working on the construction site, it can be, for example, architects, it can be engineers, it can be map construction people or engineers, they're using a different softwares. And what we are taking into our mission is to bring all inside of one system. And how it works? Well, this movie is quite interesting. So let me maybe just jump a little bit. So we are taking all of those things which are very much not talking to each other into the one platform. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, doesn't matter how many stages you will put. This is the place and the date where that particular files is being shown on the building timeline. And it can be, as you can see here, IFC models, it can be a point cloud data, it can be Matterport scans, or it can be Matterport versus point cloud data, or it can be OBJ data from any other scanning systems, E57 files. And what we are doing here, we are taking this Revit data like in this moment, and we are bringing this on one board where the time is the scale where you are actually playing through the system. Of course, this movie in this video is available for everybody that will just get access to this presentation after all, so just try it yourself. But what's our main goal is to play with that kind of the technology in the most intuitive way. So everything you see here, there is no programming, there is no CAD expertise or engineering expertise needed. It's just very simple systems to navigate through all of those kind of the asset libraries in one solution. And maybe let me just run here a little bit, because with the voiceover, because here we are showing how easy is interaction with the engineering data, where using just a finger on your touch screen, you can mark points of the interest in the Matterport model. but that means is also that any other data you can play as well.
Not able to hear your audio, by the way.
Oh, you don't hear audio. Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's okay. I mean,
I just wanted to run this fragment because this is something also very unique. What we are giving here to the Matterport community and digital twin scanning companies is that it's not only about the visualization. What we are allowing here, we are allowing to bring your own repository of the files for the construction process and bring them into the Matterport space. And the best example here is Procore. Procore is very complex and complicated system where actually you are working with the kind of the line items in the big asset library. And we are taking those assets which are coming from Procore and bringing back to the Matterport. So you don't even have to open Procore. You're just going to the site that you have scanned, and then you can work within your data. And much, much, much more that I will show you on other slides. Yeah. So that's the fragment here that we are showing. So once connecting your Matterport project within your Procore account, we read all of the data files which are inside of the Procore. We read also the punch list and the RFIs which are in the Matterport, in the Procore, and then bringing them to the Matterport, which allows you to create your new set of data and bring them opposite direction to Procore and push it to Procore as well. So stages, very visual, very simple repository of all of the files that you might have about your construction process, and projects which are on the site with different simple toolkits like videos, brush notes, audio notes, documentations, measurements, area measurements. Why we are stressing this out, because in Matterport you just can measure point to point. Here you can measure also like a square feet, square meters as well. And all of this powered by the professional system like a Matterport. And talking about the stages, the most important feature is timeline, and the timeline with a split screen. And the main goal about the stages is, as I said, each scan, it's a date, and the date means it's a stage. So as you can see here, you have a date. So each of them is a Matterport scan. You just click it and you are being moved in a time, in the same place, same location, same focus of the camera, where you actually seeing how the building is changed in the last period of time between those two scans. And of course, all of those you can compare with different file formats. So if you are using our web application, you are allowed to use Matterport versus Matterport, but also we are adding the blueprints into those files. But if you have a request for more engineering data like IFC models or OBJ or point clouds, then with a desktop version, you can compare Matterport with your Revit model side by side and see basically where are differences. Or even you can bring a Revit model or installations into the Matterport or Matterpack back to the Revit, then to have a clutch detection as well. So that's basically about this. And how that split screen looks like, well, very simple. It works very easily. I will show you this later on live, but it just drop-down menu. So you select the scan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can name it by the date, or you can name it by the, for example, I don't know, electrical installations, plumbing installation, and so on, and then just compare one with another. And of course, as I said, that works with many file formats. So we are able to take Matterport 360, but combine it also with the 3D mesh, BIM models, which is the IFC data, point clouds, and also 2D floor plans with many file formats. And actually, this is like a small trailer here. We also are supporting a Navi. So available in the next couple of days, you can even compare Matterport model and Matterport digital twin model with a Navi's digital twin model. So imagine that some of you probably are doing like capturing of the digital twin models and spaces with Matterport, but if you need to have a much more larger space, then some of the customers are using a Navis for a big corridors on the shopping malls or the airports, while they are using a Matterport in just rooms or like halls to be displayed in much more better quality. So what our system is doing, we allowing to have a one model with those different file formats, and you are smoothly working between the Matterport navis, BIM models, IFC data, and the different point clouds. And how that basically works? Well, pretty simple. So within our desktop application, you just take all of those file formats and you just put them on the one board and then align them together. And this is very easy, because how we are doing this, we are taking and putting, let's say that we have a 2D blueprint, which is the floor plan. We are selecting the 3 characteristic points in the floor plan, like at corners of the room or the corridor. And then we are finding the same models in the Matterport walkthrough or in the Revit model, and then model snaps automatically to each other. So that's pretty easy. So now we see, for example, see the points like Matterport cameras, which are aligned with the point cloud from another scanning systems. Pretty fast, pretty easy. You don't have to be engineer to work with the blueprints, or even with the point clouds from any other professional scanning systems. It works in one software, which is called Stages, with just one slider. And I will show you this, how it works and how easy it is in navigation in a couple of minutes. So that's basically for Stages. And here we are showing an additional feature. I will show this very shortly also on our web application. So you have a Matterport, and besides the portals that we have here that moves to a different floors, we are able just to bring those blueprints very easily with one click. And that's also tremendous help for the EAC industry, where you can actually see if something is differentiated from the original as designed data versus as built data. So pretty easy, pretty fast, and again, very much visual. And as I said, Procore is our big key player in that Stages software. We are using Procore as the asset library and documentations that you can fit to the Stages. And how it works, we here have some presentations, videos, so I will just let you use the application later on. But in each of the stage, instead only of using our SIMLAB icons, nodes, tags, you are able to connect to the Procore account. And then each file which is in the Procore, it can be a BIM file, it can be a PDF, Excel document, it can be whatsoever. You can just then source it up into your account in the Stages, and then just actually place it inside of the 3D Matterport space. And all of those items which are in the specification of that node are actually sourced out and bidirectional communicated to the Procore. So in the Stages, you get this kind of the Procore library where all of those files are available there. So pretty easy and pretty nice presentation how that basically works. And if this is punch list or the RFIs, whatever you were doing here is being in the seconds translated to your Procore project. So you don't even have to use the Procore interface. Everything can be done in this visualization approach. And that's basically where we are Procore. So this is how the Procore looks like, and this is how that looks in the Matterport on the other screen. So you can select visualization versus regular standard approach of the Procore window. What is getting very interesting is that on top of that, we are having also AR capabilities inside of the Stages, which means is that if you see the problem, you can create a node or the Procore RFI or the Procore punch list item, and then you can create this one on your actually construction site. And then once it's done, export it back to Procore or display all of the nodes, RFIs, punch lists that you have in your Stages project into the space. Pretty easy, pretty nice. And as you see here, we are using a Stages desktop application. That's why I wanted to show it on the presentation, because I cannot show AR in the space that I'm not at this moment, but it shows that you can navigate to the problem. That's basically how it works. Your cell phone is navigating you in this moment to the kitchen where we have the issue with, for example, this water dispenser. And then once clicking this, you can create the punch list and export it to any other professional system, or you can create any other like notes or informations. And the same way, you see the problem, then you create the issue, and then export this back to the Procore using the AR solution. Pretty much simple as it looks on the video, and just go through the presentations later on, and then let me just skip it thanks to the time constraints.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the stages, guys, I want to think about this as the software powered by Matterport, but not only for the Matterport, but also for the Navis and other file formats, where all of these things becomes easy and does not require any engineering knowledge. In Europe, we have a software for the construction industry, which is very widely used, called Dalux. So I think it's like a Dalux on the steroids. Why? Because it's not working on the BIM files, it's working on the Matterport plus BIM files. And that's much more visual and much more intuitive for any engineers, but also non-professionals, which has access to your construction site. So if you're going to ask me about for who it is, it's for everybody which is a stakeholder in the construction process. It can be an investor, the owner who's paying for the that construction site. It can be insurance company to see basically how the building was constructed, what kind of the materials were used. It's for the banks or for example, financial department to sign off your subcontractors, but it's also for GCs if they want, general contractors, if they're gonna see what job it was done for the last week or for the last month, and I need to pay the invoice and sign off the report with the issues that needs to be cleared out or not in the project. But for everybody else who wants to have the access. And the biggest value for stages is that, you know, it's a little bit like in Europe. Sorry for saying about the European compare stories, but if you want to sell a car, you can price the car, and you only believe that the car is worth the value, what you are seeing and how it drives. But if you're selling this with the service book that we have here, and you with the stamp that each year you are signing, you are going to the workshop and you're getting like a history background check, and you have like a verifications which you need to do year by year, and you have a full documentation, what was done, what filters were installed, when was the last oil change. You have a full documentation, and this is how we treat stages: a full documentation of the service process of the building, but also on the construction of the building. So you are selling the building with everything which is under the hood. You want to see what kind of the pipes are used before the concrete was used and put it on the wall. You can actually see it. And that's how we are feeling that this digital twin is bringing up the value of the building. So that's basically stages. How that works, how easy it is, I can show you if we have time. I don't know. Does Tom?
Let's go into Simon. We'll do maybe a deep dive on stages when we have more time.
Okay, Simon is at additional level of how to use a Matterport for a daily operation. Why? Because this is a compare screen. We are reusing from stages the same data, but we are pushing the data towards building facility, building operations and facility management. That means that here we have a timeline. We have a compare view of the stage 1, stage 2, or different file formats. We have the nodes, measurements, and so on. But in a Simon, we are taking all of these things and we are adding to it sensors. So whatever equipment and automation you have in your building, we are able to connect to it. We are bringing the asset library. So not only construction data, but for example, I don't know, a printer or like a TV that you are buying or a coffee machine that you're buying. You can put all of your data in that system, and it's staying within that place where it's in your real life. But on top of that, we are giving you things which are missing in all of those digital twin platforms, like calendar. Because if there is like fire extinguisher that you can see here, it's got a service date on that equipment. So that service date is being pressed into the model, and then we create for the building, for the room, for the space, a full calendar of what's happening next. So the next service of the fire extinguisher, that's easy. The next service of the elevator in the building, that's also easy. But even such a trivial example like a plant that you have in the office, right? How often to water the plant? you know it because, but if you are out of the office, or if there is like a cleaning service or like a maintenance, you can give them the task. Okay, water the plants, not every day, but each week. And then give them the ticket, actually navigate them to the space and tell them that this plant needs to be watered by 1 glass of the, for example, 1 cup of the cold water. So those even simple things are being translated with a visual way towards everybody that works within the building. And that's basically SIMON. So what SIMON is like a digital twin experience for smart building, automation control, and property management. And as you see here with this nice smile of the lady, it's very much visual. So the technology is getting towards the hands of people which don't have to be engineers to run it. And just a couple of slides in this video showing basically how that works. So I will try to make a small comments is that we add IoT, assets, and the facility management. So we take your stages data, which can be hospitals, shopping malls, but also apartments for individual, and we build a digital twin experience. This, what you see here, it's different protocols, how the building automation sensors are communicating to each other, and you don't have to worry about this. We cover all of the protocols which are on the market with a gateway like Netex Automation or Schneider Electric or whatsoever. So how does it work? We are going to the site, we are installing, for example, Netex software on the network locally, and it reads all of the sensors, all of the electronic communication which is talking to each other, and then you just take that signal saying, oh, this is my motion sensor, and you place it inside of the Matterport model. You take, oh, this is like a smoke detector, so we are taking this IP address and placing inside of the model, and you don't have to worry about what kind of the protocols they are using. We are able to cover most of them. And that's what I'm saying, many vendors, many platforms in one single platform for building automation. So we are taking this all and then just relocating this to your Dollhouse view, your Matterport view, or maybe Navis if you want to use that platform as well. And how it works, beautiful walkthrough where all of those IoT data, sensors are connected. And what you do, you just drag and drop them to the place, but it enriches your information. And if you have a warning signals, also the alarms are being sent to your account, to your mailbox, to your notification systems, and you can control the light by clicking the light in the Matterport model. Of course, we have a dashboard. You can do much more on the programming side to make your building management systems much more smart. But again, it's just drag and drop and click, selecting options to make it work as it is. And sensors is not only the important thing, but also in the same factory, you have a lot of equipment. And this equipment can be read from stages if you put it all of the information there, or you can drag and drop your data and place it into that kind of the tagging system of Matterport, but we call our nodes as the Matter tags on steroids, where you can put multiple file formats, you can put the calendar events, you can put videos, you can assign it to the people, and you can have a chat communication about this. But the coolest thing is that it creates a timeline, which is a calendar timeline for your building. And also it reports the sensor. So if the sensor is giving you information, something is wrong, all of the data about that sensor is already connected to the same asset in that space of the model. And this is the coolest thing as well. We also allowing for staging of your apartment. So now with the furnish of the models, we are just giving you options to furnish this with any kind of the assets. So you can read with like a 200 of our models, or you can just take your models from your own disk and just push it to the space as well. Pretty nice and pretty funny. Why? Because that software is for building owners, facility owners, renting companies, for hotel managers, for everyone that would like to put and work with a digital twin. Not just to see how cool is your model, but what can I do with this? Well, you can control the lights. Then you can put all of the assets in the place. And as well, you can create a calendar and maintenance of particular assets inside of the space. Or even if you want to buy a new sofa, take it as the 3D model from the furniture store and just place it to see if it works in your space, because that's pretty easy and just drag and drop. So what is the SIMON? It's IoT control, asset management, and scheduling with maintenance. And as I said, IoT control, pretty fast, pretty easy, and all of your apartments, all of your commercial buildings can have the electronics monitored inside of the Matterport with many protocols and formats. Asset management, yeah.
I was thinking as you were talking about that, I went to photograph a property and we did a 3D tour, and this was a higher end property. Every room had an iPad, and that iPad controlled the lights, the blinds. There was, the dishwasher and the washer and dryer, the clothes machines. They were all Wi-Fi connected, and so it'd be kind of cool. I'm thinking me as a homeowner, I have some smart devices, but not everything. But to be able to not have to go through like 7 different apps to do stuff in my house if I'm on vacation, I can just get on here and, turn on lights at nighttime and close the blinds and, click a button to feed the dog, or whatever it is that's IoT connected, is a pretty cool feature.
Tom, this is my house. Yeah. I'm a computer geek. I'm a tech geek. I love all of the gadgets which are on the market. So listen, this is a tablet, regular tablet on the wall. Of course, it's in a full screen. So we don't want to have this one. So let's make it much more nice and sexy if I just get rid of it in the full screen mode. And as you see here, I can control each part of my house. Oh, I see that this is like off the grid right now, but each part of my house just controlling this inside of the Matterport. So I will show you something crazy. This is my fun room where I kick out my kids and I have my console, my, the things. So look how many sensors I have here.
Wow.
And all the time I can see that this is using like 8.5, like this LED lamp, 8.5 watts of energy in this moment. I see that my Xbox is using 36 watts of energy at this moment. But if I'm in my room and sitting behind that desk with this monkey in it, I see that my computer right now is using 154 watts of energy, my monitor 91 watts of energy. And if
this is right now, real time, right?
And this is real time. So that's why you see here, this light control, if I'm gonna click it and then just show you here, I can just control it off and on, off or on in just fraction of seconds.
Yeah.
And that's running all from the Matterport. And in that room, in my house, I have 250 sensors. Some are from the SmartThings from Samsung, like washing machines and so on. Some are from the NICE. It's a Fibaro company, and some are from the KNX. And I control all of those file formats in one application. So wherever I move, I have all of those assets here running in different file formats in my apartment. So
a lot of people think of smart thermostats as like the no-brainer one, but then you also think about like leak detection. You can put leak detection sensors so that if you're gone on a holiday and there's a flood, you'll get alerted about it. It will alert you, right? If you set
So for that we have a dashboard. So we see this is like a Matterport view where you have all of it in a beautiful space. But we also have a dashboard to make it work much more faster. So as you see here with 250 sensor, this is disconnected. So Wi-Fi problems, it's not cables or Wi-Fi. So I need to go there and check it out. Yeah. And then there is like a lot of more things that I can just work with. So I see there is where was the last motion detected in that room. And so you see it was done like a couple of hours ago. Oh, this is like a 0 battery. So I can find it where it's in a space and just changed my battery.
Your house is goals. It's what we say in the US. It's goals.
Yeah, actually, there is a lot of red buttons here because you see, I don't change those batteries too often.
Yeah.
Because some of them are cheap ones and some of them are not. But I see that here the doors are just closed by my kids in my house. So it's like a pretty nice system to work with. And the same with the assets. If we're talking about the assets, I like this storage inverter, which is doing my photovoltaics. I have here all the documentation. If we're talking about the vacuum cleaner, which is the central unit, I have it here. We're talking about the kitchen assets, which is the fridge. Everything is connected in one place. And the same with the tickets. If something was reported for the maintenance, basically what was happening in those cases.
Think about like your furnace filter. You have to replace that, I think they say every like 6 months or something. But you can not only have an alert trigger to show when it's time to replace it, but you can have a link to order it right from Amazon or wherever you order your products from. You can,
and even what I can do, let me just go back here. If you're gonna go, for example, the space settings, I can create a special role for my application, which I would say like a subcontractor. And that means is that I can create a public link with access to that filter that we are actually talking. And I can actually say that this person is not having access to, so access revoked to those rooms. I can give him the access, for example, just for, I don't know, that kind of the, so there's a lot of numbers, but to, for example, this device, which is called 596 to view and control, if we're talking about the assets, so he can see the manuals on that particular, like a solar edge device, which is the photovoltaic unit. Right. So, and then I can just make a public link from it and then just put it to the Craigslist or any other systems to have this person try it, see it, know what kind of the ladder he needs, what kind of the equipment he needs, how the working area looks like, and for that use the 3D model within the SIMON. So
nice.
That's how we work to use it. And if then my wife wants to buy a new sofa, because that one is already used by the cat, and then just, she can measure the space and then just go to the, for example, interior editor and say that I want to put not consumer electronics, but maybe some furniture and place it instead of that. If I have the furnish option within the Matterport because the model was scanned with the Pro3. Someone put a robot in my house. Why not? It's a demo application also. So a lot of things are popping up. But for my cat not to feel so long, I see a pump even on my wall and some kind of the other things. But as you see, it's pretty simple. So let's take a furniture, let's take a sofa, and then I can just place it in my space with one click inside of the Matterport. So we want this to be more operational for everybody that has already a Matterport. So you can put your, and then maybe let's put the exit from that solution. So for everybody who's got the apartment to have the, like here, IoT connection, then different scenes which are programmed by the IoT, then different asset management, then different calendar events, what needs to be fixed when and how, but also all of the ticketing and issue solving problems of the system, and then also furnish for a daily operation of the facility.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I think we're getting low on time here. We could probably spend hours on this because I have a bunch
with me, definitely I can talk for a couple of hours with no stop. So sorry if I took your time also on
No, it's all good. I have a bunch of questions. We'll save that for a future video. But if you could share the presentations and maybe
of course, that's for everybody to use. And again, we just show this on the apartment side, but that works mostly with your commercial customers as well. So here is example of, for example, the food processing factory. Actually, they are doing the salads and the food processing for the McDonald's in Europe. And you can operate the machines, you can control the assets, but also all of the signals for leaks or for is been there. But it's all also powered by the IBM Maximo. So it's great to use it for your home, for your TV. But if you have a serious installations and serious customers like shopping malls, airports, and they have those boring asset management system like Maximo, which looks basically like this line item. You bring that back to the Matterport space. You bring that features with the visualization on top of the Matterport dashboard, and that is huge because those systems cost, I don't want to say thousands, but at least like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for a license. So bringing the value of the visualization to those boring systems where you see everything like that, instead of this, it's a huge value. So this is where we're also looking for our customers that, okay, let's move the data into the, visualization container.
Okay, so if people want more information on Stages or SIMON, where should they go? How do they get the information?
Okay, so our website is simlabinc.com, and those two platforms are available straight on the main page where you can go to Stages or SIMON directly by clicking this. In registration on any of those websites, it's free of charge. So you can start playing with this with 2 demo applications free of charge, and you can create some basic features for your own Matterport models. And then, of course, if you want to have a commercial professional project, then or contact us or just use your credit card and buy a subscription plan.
Okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind sending me an email with a link to the presentation and maybe a link to a public space of Stages and SIM-ON that you can share. Not your house, because we don't want to be controlling lights and blinds in the middle of your night.
We have a visitor role, so I have had like a couple of thousands of visitors last couple of months, and I don't like them if they playing with my garage gate and opening up because actually my employees were doing this. But the funny thing is that I was using this demo of my house as the most interesting one because there's hundreds of the sensors.
Yeah.
When those colleagues of mine were playing with my fridge, and for example, they forgot to switch on my fridge after switching this off for the weekend, and then I'm coming back after kind of short holidays.
Yeah,
that's something is smelling at my house. Oh yeah, but because everything is digital, you can find in the logs, who was the last one actually controlling your house. So we know who is the joker here.
Robert's not getting a bonus this year.
We know who is the joker here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for staying up late for us. And we'll talk soon.
Most my pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Tom and Marek. Got follow-up questions for Tom? Go to www.sparksmediagroup.com or www.scanyourspace.com or post your questions to the We Get Around Network Forum at www.wegetaroundnetworkforum.com. Also, subscribe to the Sparks Media Group YouTube channel at Sparks Media Group. Got follow-up questions for SIMLAB? Go to simlabinc.com. Got questions about SIMLAB Stages? Go to sim-stages.com. Got questions about SIMLAB SIMON? Go to sim-on.com. For WGAN-TV podcast episodes, look for WGAN-TV in your favorite podcast app or go to www.wgan-tv.com.